question from Tao Nan School, P6 Prelim paper in 2020, question number 17 of paper 2. Now this type of overlapping figure question is very common in the PSLE, and there is at least always one type of this question in every PSLE paper. It can involve circles, triangles, rectangles, squares, and it is not just restricted to the topic of area and perimeter. It can also involve fractions and ratio like this case, or even percentage. So it will be wise for you to gain more exposure to this type of question since it's very common. Okay, so now let's take a look at how we're going to solve this question. Now we have the first information, the length of rectangle A is 5 out of 13 the length of rectangle B. So let's represent this information with a ratio. So the length of A to the length of B is 5:13. And then for the next information, we are given this. The length of C is 1/3 the total length of A and B. So length of C to the length of A and B is 1:3. Now, once you have written out these two ratios, you will be able to observe that they have something in common, which is the total length of A and B. And if we were to find the total length of A and B, we have 18 here, and you can make this and this the same using your connect group strategy. And after you have done your strategy, you will be able to get the final ratio of A to B to C to be 5:13:6. Now let's write down this information in our diagram. So we know that A is 5 units, so we're going to label 5 units here. And we know that B is 13, so we're going to label here to here is 13 units. And the same thing for C, here to here is 6 units. Now if we focus on rectangle A, you will be able to see that the 5 units is in fact made up of the 45 and the A. So we can form our first statement that 45 plus A is equals to 5 units. And let's look at rectangle B. We will be able to observe something similar to the 165 cm, and the A over here actually is what that made up the 13 units. So we can form the second statement. 165 plus A is equals to 13 units. So I believe you know that the strategy we're going to apply here is your let's kill. So we know A is already the same, so we can go ahead and apply the strategy straight away, and you will be able to get that 8 units is equivalent to 120. So you will find out that 1 unit is 120 divided by 8, which gives us 15. Now, once we have this 1 unit to be 15, let's look at what the question wants. You want to find the length of PQ, which is in fact this entire length over here. And this entire length is made up of this portion here, 45, the 13 units over here, and this small little part over here. So we already have the 45 cm, so we're going to use it later on. And we can proceed to find this portion over here by finding 13 units. 15 times 13 gives us 195. So let's label that in the diagram that this part here is 195 cm. Okay, so now once we have this, we can actually go ahead to find this small little part over here by using the 6 units to subtract away the A. So what is the value of A? You can find the value of A if you look at rectangle B, because we know that the entire length of rectangle B is 195 cm. And since we know that here is already 165, so A here can be found by using 195 to take away the 165, and that gives us 30. Now once we know that this A here represents 30 cm, we can find the question mark over here by using 6 units, which is 15 times 6, and that gives us 90. And then using 90 to take away the 30, and that gives us 60. So let's label this part here to be 60 cm. Now once we have the values of these 3 parts, we can add them together. 45 plus 195 plus 60, and that gives us 300 as the answer. So the answer for the length of PQ is 300 centimeters. Now if you're good in your visual skills, you can also find the total length of this 5 units, 13 units, and 6 units, and then after that, take away 2 of A. So that will actually leave you with the same answer of 300. cm in the end. Alternatively, if you are strong in your visual skills, you can also solve for the length of PQ by finding the total number of units of the three rectangles, which are 5 units, 13 units, and 6 units. So that will give you 24 units. Now, once you have found that the total number of units is 24 units, you can solve for the value of it by using 24 to multiply by 15, since we know 1 unit is 15. And that gives you 360. Now, if you look at the diagram closely, you will realize that there are actually two overlap parts, which are represented by this A and this A over here. So we will need to take away the value of these two overlap parts in order to find the length of PQ. So we'll use 360 to minus 30, since we know A is represented by 30. And that gives us the same answer of 300 centimeters if you were to use the previous step to solve. So the answer to this question is 300 centimeters.